Hey, BattleTech fans. All right. Well, I've kind of come to the determination that Catalyst is getting an F here in Comm's land. We did get this new news from Quartermaster Logistics, and it just so happens that I got my email address verification, so I am in this wave. If you're not, hold on. I have faith that North America is going right now. Rest of the world, again, from last update, I think they're still moving material around to hubs to ship to you guys. So hang in there. It's going to be a long Kickstarter still. Yeah, so this video. Yeah, CGL comms are failing the community right now, and it's time for a little bit of tough love. I do this, yes, it's going to be critical, but hopefully it's also constructive. I am also not the be-all, end-all of PR, marketing comms, marketing campaigns. I've worked tangentially with them a lot throughout my career. I've watched good ones go and some bad ones go. But I just kind of felt compelled to make this video. And what was happening was, as a backer, it just wasn't feeling great. Things are still progressing, and even now that this, I know that at some point next week, probably a shipment's gonna fire off and start making its way to me. It still kind of doesn't feel great. And compared to Clan Invasion, I was wondering, did it feel like this? It really didn't. Is it just me? And you can see other comments in the community out there on various different Reddit, Discord channels, things like that, calling out the same thing. So I was trying to figure out, well, how do I slice and dice this? Occam's razor, produce a clear comms on where the problem is at. And I came up with this question. Where can you reliably get up-to-date Kickstarter information right now? And I was thinking about that. I'm like, well, okay. Is it the Kickstarter updates, comments, and FAQ pages? Is it the Kickstarter site itself? Is it the Tuesday news stream buried 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 23 minutes in, or at the end by some random question? Or is it off of CGO website, Facebook, or some other comms that they have? How about the QML Facebook page? What about compiled by the community secondhand? All of the above? Some of the above? It turns out it's only some of the above, and it's specifically these things. And funnily enough, I think compiled by the community secondhand, is how people are preferring to get their information. But this has a really bad net effect. It really means you don't know where you can reliably get the up-to-date Kickstarter information. There are too many channels. And the resulting effect is pretty bad. So what it's doing is it is leaving questions open. We never feel like we know the actual status of where the Kickstarter is at. Or it takes multiple media channels, some from secondhand, some from over here on the Quartermaster's Logistics Facebook page, and combined with the most recent Kickstarter update from Catalyst themselves. There, okay, now I have the picture. I can understand. But I had to pull on all of these things to do it. And if you yourself have a question or kind of wondering where things are at, you are not alone. And you might be tempted to go and ask a question on the Kickstarter's page. I've seen people do this, and I'll see somebody reply with, "Oh yeah, you want that piece of information? It's in update 87. Go look there." And I've been blown away. I don't know what's on update 87, but I've been blown away. Sure enough, you go and look, and halfway down one sentence, there's the person's question answered. Absolutely ridiculous that's what's going on. So the result is questions are not really dying down. Questions don't feel satisfactorily put to bed. And it's leaving the impression that the Kickstarter's kind of out of control when it's actually not. if you drill down and compile to where we've essentially gotten to, it's not out of control. You can put together the picture, but it takes way too much work. And so priority one, Catalyst, you gotta provide a good clean update on the Kickstarter page on where the Mercs Kickstarter is at. I know you fired off some update a while ago. We'll talk about that one in a second. But, you know, this is Kickstarter 101 basics. Cleanest, latest information, summarize the previous points so we don't have to go dig for them, and rinse and repeat monthly. You actually don't need to do it greater than monthly. You can, but if you're going to communicate, do it well and be careful and concise and good about it. You also really ought to update the FAQ section. As another P1, there are so many questions that have been answered in these previous updates, and specifically about taxes, shipping, all of these types of things. The FAQ has not been updated to my knowledge. So you got to go and get on that and do that, because I really do feel like the Mercs Kickstarter has not been a full net positive for you. And it's unfortunate, right? I think we're going to get amazing mechs and great BattleTech, new gameplay, great box set, all the swag, which I love, all the good things. And like, I say this from a position of love for BattleTech and Catalyst. I am a believer that BattleTech would be still hibernating in WizKids Clickland if it weren't for what Catalyst has done. They have done an amazing job building this up to rival big-time IPs. We are living in a BattleTech renaissance right now, and I'm completely cognizant of the fact that Catalyst has done it. And when we say Catalyst, you got to remember you're talking about people like Lauren Michaels, Randall Bills. These are people that have been, like, BattleTech is like part of their DNA. They are BattleTech. So I am not one of these drag Catalyst just for the fun of it, point out the problems. I am trying to say, look, you've got a problem here, Catalyst. You need to get on it. Some other tips for what it's worth, 2 cents. I'd avoid blaming QML, and I'd avoid deferring my messaging to them. This is not good. They're not actually a great vehicle to do that with, although their most current update is pretty dang good. I got 2,900 new orders coming. The address verification has gone out. We're moving on it, and here's a big picture of all the stuff in our warehouse. Right? That's bolstering confidence and is good. Good job, QML. But really, should be coming from you, Catalyst. You can't just cede the control of BattleTech and the Mercenaries Kickstarter and the messaging over to somebody else. It looks like you don't care. And you get to blame a third party, in my experience, exactly once. You get to throw them under the bus once, and when you do it, you better do it carefully. And it's only ever about 80% effective, because you're all on the same team trying to do the same stuff. So, that ship's already sailed and done. You need to grab control of this and start controlling the communication of it. The other thing I would say is clean and reshape the messages from the messengers. You cannot, as a project manager, I cannot just take stuff from the trenches and fire it on upward, or especially not to my customers. Normally I'm dealing with internal customers when I'm communicating. So they're nice. Not only are we playing for the same team, we are the same team. But at the same time, I still owe these people good message about where we're at. And so at risk of kicking a dead horse, let's just take a look at this, the last update we have, and why this is bad. So in highlight here, last Monday the shortage reports were due from the hubs, and they've all been turned in, reviewed, and sent to us as Catalyst. I don't, cool. What do you take away from that? We know what's missing. Then we go on to say, yeah, we're working on it, what's missing, and, I just wanted to give you a quick update. Also, US and Canada fulfillment is about 50% complete. The unfortunate part, this update raises more questions then it answers. For me, I saw that you're 50% complete, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm in the latter group then. That must mean what that means, but man, 50%. So I'm, I hope I don't need to be worried right now. How many people are left here? Excuse me. Also, the shortage reports were due from the hubs. The hubs? All the hubs? How do you have a shortage in USA and Canada? Is that shut down now too? To be perfectly selfish, that's what I care about because that's where I'm at. Do you not great. Where it's gotten to over the past 5, 6, 7, close to over 10 days, 10 days now, we've actually got a much clearer picture. It's had to come from QML's website, Tuesday Newsday update, a combination of different things, right? But we essentially now know it's only the rest of the world hubs. And really how I would present this picture is we're 50% complete with North America. We're continuing to ship. We're shipping over 2,000 customers each week. You should get an address verification email from QML when your shipment gets ready to go. Don't worry, if you haven't moved addresses, you don't even need to do anything. QML is going to ship regardless of whether you answer that email or not. So keep an eye on email, North America. Rest of the world, we're still moving materials around to our shipping hubs to fill them out so that we can pack out and start the shipping process. Apologies that this is taking a while. It's taking a while to move materials around the world. More news as we get it, right? That should have been more of the update. But I do feel for Catalyst because I feel like they know that there's a fire out here in the community. Things feel uncertain and chaotic, and people want answers. So they're communicating a little faster and off the cuff without things dialed in as much, and without as much flesh on them, and really without the basics of, if I read this as a customer, what am I going to feel? What is going to happen? And you must be able to do that if you are going to be the communication mouthpiece on this Kickstarter. Yeah. So, communication priority P1 for Catalyst, fix your Kickstarter comms. That's not only Mercs, but that's Leviathans as well, too. All right. I got a P2 for you, which is fix Tuesday Newsday. Oh, boy. So right off the bat, let's just talk about the problem with putting a day or, unless maybe it's monthly, if you go here's an example from 40K from Games Workshop Land. Horus Heresy Thursdays. How is that received by the community? Because Tuesday Newsday, you are pigeonholing yourself to being able to provide news every Tuesday. That's not really what's going to happen. Regardless of what you tell me later on about what your show is really about, you're telling me right in the name, you're going to deliver me news every Tuesday. A noble goal, probably not something you want to try and tackle. It's just not. We'll get into it more. This is also not a news medium. A live stream is not how you want to be delivering news in most cases. It's good for conventions. It's good for special events. But it is not how you want to be doing news on the regular. So that's a big problem. Because what does it feel like right now? Most people are showing up looking for news. And specifically BattleTech. Yes, there's Shadowrun and whatever else is out there in Catalyst Land, but most everybody's showing up for BattleTech news. So, Comm, there's usually a lot of questions on the chat. Rem brings in a special guest or poor person that's going to help take the slings and arrows from the community right now with her. And what this actually is what I call it's a community chat. You've got authors, other people at Catalyst with different positions that their experience with BattleTech, Catalyst, blah blah blah, and it's an interview or talking about a segment or an upcoming book, or it's a community special feature. So it's Catalyst community chat is what this is, but it's doing such a disservice to the person that is coming on with the REM, because nobody is there for that. Everybody is waiting for the BattleTech update or firing off a bunch of questions about BattleTech in the chat. And what a disservice to that person. Have I said that a million times yet? These could be so good. So Tuesday Newsday cannot be this format. I'm sorry. You can't do it this way. It should be a recorded, scripted 5 to 10 minute video. It should be punchy, posted on YouTube. That's how you're going to do your news. Monthly, maybe less. It's got to have good production values, drive hype, and also you can tease things too. But that's how your news should be done. There are other ways to do it. It's not the only way, but that's how I'd tackle it if I was Catalyst. And rebrand it Catalyst Games Lab News now, or whatever, or something better. Get a real marketing person to brand it. Rem's a good person, and I like some of the things that she has provided to Catalyst, but this kind of nobody cares that you're tired from traveling to the con and you have to rifle through your notes to get to the little scrap of news, and we're 15 minutes in to get that. It's bad. Fix this. The CGL website needs to be fixed, but this is a P3. I don't think it's, crucial. Talon did a whole thing about how the tech stack's old and blah, blah, blah. I'm kind of wondering if you just grab yourself a Shopify backend, go grab one of those third-party web creator front ends, smash the two together, and you're off to the races. Or go hit up Tops to refactor and do this. But something better has to happen here. This site is slow, and it is failing to push and reinforce your key messages. Sometimes it has its own things too, which I kind of question. Hard to navigate, hard to find things that you want. Not a good look for you, Catalyst, with how many people you are supporting right now. Is it, in a way, this is kind of the funny thing, right? Catalyst is an extremely small company for how many customers and how big a visibility it has in the miniature wargaming community right now. And so all of these things are actually kind of leftover effects. Catalyst doesn't probably really have I'm pretty sure they don't really have a marketing communication strategy, right? There's probably not something happening like that. It's usually just kind of fly off the cuff. Probably, the Catalyst members would meet before a convention and be like, yeah, let's drop this news. Where are we going to drop it? Let's drop it in this stream. Let's drop it at the noon stream at Adepticon. That's how news releases are done, which is absolutely crazy. We'll talk more about that. But yeah, you just kind of grown beyond this website. P3, fix it. P3, P4, this Catalyst community chat, which is really what Tuesday Newsday is. It's kind of a nice to have. I wouldn't invest time in this until you fix your P1 and P2. You don't necessarily have to fix your website to do this. I know this is easy in that hand and kind of fits with emotion that Rem has already been spearheading and doing. So maybe just from this standpoint of ease, you continue to do it. But if you're going to do it, you better find a way to hype what the upcoming topic is, who the speaker is, what you're going to chat about, and that should be posted on your social media or other venues at least 3 days in advance, and you should have the little stream sitting there, boop, upcoming in, 3 days. That's how that one should go, so that you can actually drive some more participation to it. And you really got to stop all these other streams, gameplays, and whatever. Again, until the other stuff are fixed, but you're just not pulling in enough eyes to make that worth it. Your Frostpunk role-playing game video, unless you're doing a learn to play or a kind of a special event, like you grab some celebrities, like Freddie Prinze Jr. plays BattleTech. Unless you're doing something like that, hey, these people are coming to play the game, and you're hosting like that, if it's me and it's my marketing dollars, I'm not spending any time doing these things. You can say, oh, that's unfair. There are at least couple hundred people in these viewing them. Well, that may be true for Tuesday Newsday, so you can inflate those views by 100. It is not true for Frostpunk. I don't think it's true for anything that's Shadowrun either. Go look at the chat. It's mostly active with mods or Catalyst members themselves. So I think this is a big sink in Catalyst time that probably just needs to be done away with. So we've been talking marketing comms strategy. Again, I'm not the be-all and end-all here. I want to talk a little bit about messaging discipline as well, too. And this gets back to the theme of, Catalyst has kind of grown beyond this. There are a lot of personalities here that are used to doing some things or just kind of off the cuff. It is not serving you well anymore. And the real reason is, I alluded to this earlier, I think the BattleTech community is enjoying getting their news from the BattleTech community, from people who are going around doing the work to synthesize the message and then producing something. And I think it's a huge mistake to think that this is a good means of driving BattleTech hype. This is exactly like the Kickstarter problem. Where do you go to get the best Catalyst news? Where are you going to excite me about BattleTech, Shadowrun, whatever is upcoming? And the answer is the community doesn't know. So the community compiles and then subscribes and relies on other members of the community. And you can't do it like that anymore because you actually have something that is extremely valuable and you're just giving it away. You're giving away your ability to control your message, drive excitement, make people feel good things and about the IP, put emphasis and slant and push and drive where you want it to go. And the craziest example, not to pick on but pick on a god of BattleTech in my mind, Randall. Or whomever it was, but at Kerensky Con, paralleling Adepticon, somebody gave away screenshots of a huge roadmap of upcoming miniatures and lances, and gave away so much marketing juice and hype, just like gave away years worth of it, and the pictures found themselves online, and the community rehashed it and put it out in a better format. And this is the result. Some weirdo like me can get thousands of views on what should be your views, Catalyst. What should be your message and the way you want to present it. All I've been doing is grabbing some of this news stuff, applying some pictures, making it a little better, a little snappier, and that's how I'm rewarded. And I'm by no means a prominent YouTuber. I do not have a ton of subscriptions. I also am by no means a great YouTuber or communicator to begin with. But Catalyst, you gotta be more cognizant of what you're doing here in the comm space. Number one, go fix your Kickstarter comms. That's it. Number two, you gotta start working on this weekly. Somebody has got to be driving the marketing comms in a better way, and they have to be empowered to do that. That doesn't mean like they're the one that delivers the news. Like if Randall is gonna talk about 4 upcoming Lance packs, then let's do that and provide the means to do that. but you can't like give it away on the side or at it. You can still do it at your convention shows, right? If that's where you choose to let that news vehicle be done. But what are you going to follow it up with then? Yeah, you're going to know that those are the announcements that you're going to make at the con, and you're going to have a 5 to 10 minute follow-up video that you're posting on YouTube with all of the beauty shots and goodness and that recapped. So the message is reinforced and you're driving traffic to your sites and you're in control of your message and you look like you have it. And you're driving hype for Ilklan and all of the things that you want to do. So, like, I don't know, like, the next video I want to make is, like, I'm kind of feeling like unless Catalyst is able to mature into what they have right now, we're probably at peak BattleTech right here, right now. This is a bold statement. I wonder, I'll set myself up to make that video, but that's how it's feeling. And there's a couple reasons contributing to that. One, we've all got a plethora of mechs now. Like, we have plastic overfloweth. Some people will continue to buy, but less and less. Like, as your shelves get fuller and fuller, you are more saturated. So GW's answer to this is you just kill model lines, say they're no longer usable, you jerk the scale around, and you release a new version of your rules. Catalyst is not going to do that. But what are you going to do from here? With the appetite for mechs dropping off, and you're not in the best position to communicate to. I don't know. If it's me and I'm sitting at Catalyst, this is maybe one of my biggest worries. The Kickstarters are going to be completed. That's actually not a worry. At no time did I feel like I'm not going to get my stuff from Catalyst. I just couldn't figure out what the heck is going on. How long do I have to wait for it? What's reasonable here? 50% of America? Is that, like, oh my gosh. Anyhow, I rambled on long enough. If you're here this long with me, I appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And the drop ships are coming, my friends. The drop ships are coming. Have faith. All right, I'll catch you later.